Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Transforming IT at Scale, how Brenntag achieved global AI-driven excellence with ServiceNow. My name is Burkhard Stegmann, and I'll be your host today. I'm an advisory solution consultant in our life science and chemicals pre-sales team here at ServiceNow, and I've had the privilege of working with Brenntag for the last 3 years. Over these 3 years, I've had a front row seat to an amazing transformation, watching Brenntag consolidate 10 different ITSM tools used in more than 60 countries into just one unified ServiceNow platform. And then more recently, seeing them roll out generative AI capabilities for both their end users and IT agents in just a matter of months. It's been really exciting to be part of this journey, and I'm very grateful for the great collaboration and partnership. We have an exciting session lined up for you today. You'll hear directly from 2 exceptional speakers who have been at the forefront of this transformation. First, we'll hear from Maud Stichter. Maud is the advisory lead for AI at Plat4mation, one of ServiceNow's top 10 GenAI partners. She will share insights on Plat4mation's holistic approach to generative AI projects. After that, we'll hear from Katarina Kurchabova. Katarina is Senior Director Cloud Platforms and ITSM and IT Governance at Brenntag. She will take us through Brenntag's ServiceNow journey in general and the recent AI journey specifically. Both Maud and Katarina will introduce themselves in a bit more detail when they begin their presentations. Let me quickly walk you through today's agenda. We'll start with an introduction of Plat4mation and how they approach ServiceNow generative AI projects. This will give you clear and practical guidance on how to plan, execute, and, very importantly, iterate to get the most value out of your investment. We'll then move on to an actual customer example. How did Brenntag pull off such an amazing transformation? Where did they come from, and how does their ServiceNow journey look like so far? Next, we'll dive into the specific IT challenges Brenntag was facing. They had just consolidated multiple ITSM tools onto ServiceNow. What led them to pushing even further and rolling out generative AI to one region after another? After that, Katarina will share Brenntag's initial results and the key takeaways from their journey. And we'll wrap with Q&A. Very quickly, just a few housekeeping items before we begin. This webinar is being recorded and we'll send you a link to the recording after the event, so you can revisit any sections or share it with colleagues who couldn't join us today. While the slide deck itself won't be available for download, you'll have the recording to reference. For questions, please use the Q&A widget on the left side of your screen. We've reserved about 5 to 10 minutes at the end so we can answer all your questions. As well, we'll try to answer a couple of questions if they fit in and we have time for it. And with that, I'm excited to hand things over to our first speaker. Maud, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Maud Stichter, based in Utrecht, working for Plat4mation for almost 6 years. I have a background in AI, and I'm the advisory AI lead at Plat4mation. Before we start talking about AI, I want to start with a short introduction about Plat4mation for the people who don't know us. We've been working with ServiceNow for more than 12 years, building deep expertise, and we are a ServiceNow pure player with the main goal to make ServiceNow successful for our customers, of course. We have over 650 employees and offices in 13 different countries, and we delivered in total more than 200 different projects. That said, let's continue with a short overview of our GenAI achievements. We think we are the #1 ServiceNow GenAI partner. We are a leader in the ServiceNow GenAI adoption, delivery, and also showing value. We implemented Now Assist for more than 35 customers across different industries and also different regions. And in total, we developed more than 120 different agents, from out-of-the-box more simple skills like summarization, to custom agents, to agentic AI workflows, also for ITSM, HRSD, CSM on all different type of modules. For the AI projects, we have a specialized team set up. We have over 35 different consultants are trained and have experience working on these AI projects. And as Plat4mation, we have a strong background and focus on data and intelligence, including performance analytics, process mining, but also integrations, which is really helpful with those GenAI projects. When we talk about GenAI and our implementations, and many organizations think of it as a technical implementation and how we are used to implement it. Here you can something you can configure, you can test and deploy. But GenAI is not a typical technical solution, and especially the testing is very different compared to a normal implementation. With a script, it is working or it is not working. With GenAI, agents and agentic AI workflow, a different approach is needed to make it successful. For example, you need to take into account the AI design factors, human behavior. You need to have clear objectives set and a steering committee with a clear governance. For example, the AI design factors, the data, the model, etc. It will shape how AI behaves and also what type of the outcomes will be delivered. And next to that, what you see on the left side, had the human behavior and the perception and how to drive people and how they will interact with AI. Based on our experience, we saw that you need to involve the business and the people who are actually going to work with all those use cases to make sure to reach the objectives that you have set at the beginning. People need to trust the system, and the first impression is really important. And we think at Plat4mation that a combination of these elements is needed to make a GenAI implementation successful. When we start with the projects, we follow 3 steps. First step is an AI inspiration workshop, then a use case definition and roadmap will follow. And after that, we can start the AI implementation, normally with an AI squad. I will give some more details later in the presentation. But the first step, the strategic AI inspiration workshop, is normally 1.5 hour, 2-hour session to get a high level view of what you want to achieve, where you are now, and where you want to go to. Now, during the use case definition and roadmap, it's normally a 2-day session where we first start with defining the objectives. We prepare a lot of data analysis before we jump into the 2-day workshop with process mining, with automation discovery, with traditional performance analytics. And during also the first day of the workshop, we ask for a reverse demo that the customer is going to show us how do they work in their day-to-day job. What is the job to be done today by a human agent, and maybe what can we replace by an AI agent? Based on that, all that information, we define a long list of use cases. After that, we will prioritize them on a matrix, feasibility, value, but also how difficult it is to implement. And then on the second day, we normally create for a subset of the use cases defined on day 1, some use case design. So some detailed design of the description of the use case, what are the prerequisites, which KPIs do we want to measure, etc. And then we end the workshop with a step-by-step plan on how we are going to deliver it. And then we move on with the AI implementation phase. Normally what we want to do is a minimum of 3 months with an AI squad, but I will give some more details in the next slide. So during the implementation, we work with an AI squad, like I said, and we ideally work on project with a minimal duration of 3 months. Why is that? That's to be able to iterative improve the agents we build. Sometimes, and normally with a simple skill, maybe it's quite simple to implement, but if you are going to build agents and especially agentic AI workflows, you need to have multiple sprints to make it a successful product. After those 3 months, we evaluate what we built, of course, and which use cases can be relevant for a phase 2. Also for Brenntag, we did the first phase 1 implementation in 3 months, and now we are checking if we can start a phase 2. Next to that, of course, we prefer to work agile with 2-week sprints. An important part is also during the sprint to define the KPIs and how to measure the value for each and every use case we implement. To conclude, we think at Plat4mation that a successful GenAI implementation involves a combination of technical configuration, adoption, communication, and also training is very important. That the end users know, or the fulfillers, how to use the use cases and to get the maximum value out of it. And we truly believe that a holistic approach that goes beyond only the technical configuration is needed to make it a successful project. Now let's move on. What did we do for Brenntag? We started around 5 months ago. We did a 3-month project. We are now preparing for phase 2, like I said, and their ambition was to enhance the service delivery and operational efficiency. Katarina will talk more about it, and maybe more important, also to create and build a scalable GenAI foundation for the future. You see here already some outcomes, but Katarina will discuss these in more detail. We worked, of course, with the squad setup, as discussed before, a dedicated team, short implementation cycles. We involved the service desk and the customer first mindset. And in parallel, there was a knowledge management improvement project set up to actually make sure that the use cases we build, we get the most value out of it. Now, we had some working principles, customer driven, involve your business, involve the people who are going to work on it, and also improve the product based on their feedback. Accept imperfections. So also if the agent you build is not 100% correct, accept that and move on, and have based, if it's moved to production, get the feedback, and based on that, make the agent or the use case better. Agility and speed, and next to that, adoption is really important. So we always spend quite some time on training the end users, make sure that they are aware of it. We create videos and other training materials. And also the last point, be a little bit flexible. If you're working in a project and you see that one use case is not delivering what you expected, feel free to just change one use case with another one. That was it from my side. Now I hand over to Katarina, and she will tell more in detail about the Brenntag story.
Thank you very much, Maud, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody. My pleasure being here on this call together with Burkhard and Maud. My name is Katarina. I'm a Senior Director of Cloud Platforms and IT Service Management at Brenntag. I lead our multi-cloud practice and infrastructure transformation, as well as the service delivery, supporting IT and finance teams across all 72 countries where we operate today. And as already said, I will talk about our Brenntag ServiceNow journey. But before I do that, I want to tell you about what we do, as many of you do not know our line of the business. We are the market leader in a full line range of chemical and ingredient products. What does it mean? We connect chemical manufacturers with the customers in a value-added partnership and supports them with everything from procurement, storage, repackaging, as well as the global delivery of the chemicals and ingredients products. In our laboratories, we mix and provide complex chemicals for industries like food, pharma, cosmetics, oil and gas, and support such a key processes as water purifications. Every 2 seconds around the world, we deliver one of our 65,000 products somewhere. Now, as many large enterprises, we grew through mergers and acquisitions that presented us with the usual challenges of locally siloed and fragmented IT, resulting in a large legacy footprint of many IT services platforms. As Maud mentioned, service delivery area was of no difference. around 4 years ago, we started global transformation, and the time came to also look on how IT operates. Now, that also leads me to the drivers that were behind the ServiceNow and also the Now Assist rollout. As always with the global transformation, there comes a time to centralize the solutions, the teams, and we really, as an IT, needed something that support us in this change. The challenges that we were facing were those of the typical fragmented IT. So Maud indeed mentioned the amount of service delivery solutions we had around the globe. It was actually 13, and I'm not even mentioning the countries where we just operated with an Excel sheet or a SharePoint list. As a part of transformation, our teams were also changing. The local teams were becoming global teams. The responsibilities were shifting. Became more and more complex to get something done because of those roles change. Our historical knowledge was mostly undocumented and, as always, in the heads of several key people, which provided for us the risk of the business continuity and, of course, prevented us to scale and support the organization efficiently. And ultimately, who is the victim of such situation? Well, all of us employees that needs to deliver their work, but struggles when a disruption happens to move forward in resolving the disruption and getting back to their job, as well as for us as an IT staff to deliver that experience and excellence that our employees expect from us. So what we did, we chose a ServiceNow as an already established enterprise partner when it comes to the service delivery. Together with Plat4mation, we actually managed to roll out the ServiceNow IT service management and IT operational management globally in around 9 months. And when I say globally, I mean across all of our countries, but also with all the key services like incident, change, request, knowledge, and other key processes, as well as the heart of the ServiceNow CMDB. We also established a process organization that is key in not only ensuring that these processes gets adopted, but also future development and continuous improvement on these processes. Now, you might say that that's it, but of course, when you are looking on a IT perspective, we felt, well, organization is supported, but it's not really what we wanted yet. So what were the further challenges that we saw and that actually pushed us further to really directly jump in the Now Assist capabilities? End user experience stood at the center of these challenges. Even with ServiceNow and with the knowledge base available, the users just not intuitively navigate through the amount of self-help articles. And as always, user gets in, wants to get the help as soon as possible and get out. Users ignore the service catalog. They try to just submit the ticket somewhere and move out. So the adoption was really not to the extent we wanted it. Our service desk and L1 teams struggled in ensuring that the tickets have all the correct information, gathering that information from end user, navigating between the complex local, global, and regional teams. And a lot of time was spent in the unnecessary handovers and really the mundane task as well as routing. And our core IT teams, so really those teams that run the organizational engines, as we call that, you know, were spending more and more time on the operational support and less time on the innovation, which is, of course, not favorable because we are here to serve the business. That also impacted the experience for the users. I cannot see you all, but who didn't receive a ticket resolve with the resolution notes being completed, done, without really providing that end user experience of what was done, how your ticket was solved, as well as preventing the other IT staff to learn from that ticket and maybe apply that knowledge in the future. And of course, as a global organization, we are always looking to use the managed services. Operating procedures was something that we did not have. and the creation of this was really lacking, and as well as preventing us to roll out these managed service capabilities. Now, the task was very simple. We wanted to move away from this traditional way of ticketing systems, clean, not clean, to really providing that end user experience and streamline our IT operations. And this is where Now Assist capabilities came to a rescue. So what did we do? So you understand what I'm going to tell you in the next slide. We partnered with Plat4mation again, because we had a very good experience of the ServiceNow rollout itself. And we indeed roll out the foundational Now Assist capabilities. These are now live in 3 out of 4 of our regions, with the 4th region coming early in January. And I'm now going to tell you what did we do and what did we learn along. Okay. So what did we do? Very simple. We used the ServiceNow out-of-the-box capabilities, together with the help of Plat4mation, of course, adapted them for the Brenntag needs, as well as set of custom functions to support our specific use cases. We also use the available large language models, LLMs, on our public cloud that integrate seamlessly with ServiceNow through the already available integration parts. And then we focus on delivering. But the step number 1 was to ensure that we have good data. In our case, as I mentioned initially, we are a young ServiceNow customer, so we didn't struggle with legacy data, unmaintained knowledge. We struggle with not having any information. So we paused for a brief moment. Together with our service desk teams, we created a foundational knowledge base on which we can continuously build, and I will tell you in a moment how. And then we got to the work. We focus on 3 key areas. Number 1, as I mentioned, employee experience at the center. So what does it mean? Where does the employee operate? It's not a ServiceNow. That's not the environment where a typical employee lives. Even I don't live in a ServiceNow. I operate mostly in the workplace as a proper manager, using MS Teams Outlook, managing my organization. So we brought the Now Assist capabilities through the virtual assistant to the employees, to their workplace, to the Microsoft Teams. So when I experience an issue as an employee, I can ask for a help, get a guided self-help walkthrough through ServiceNow Virtual Assistant in a Microsoft Teams without leaving my workplace. And when that self-help is not good enough, in a conversational way, I can order something I need from the service catalog or raise an incident directly in my workplace. As a number 2, we focus on the actual IT staff efficiency, service desk, L2, L3 teams, IT operational teams. How can we help them to accelerate the ticket lifecycle, to have them focus where they really add that unique value, instead of focusing on reading who said what before, gathering the information, summarizing it. So we focus on accelerating the ticket lifecycle through a set of summarization activities, helping the fulfillers resolve the incidents based on the previous experience and more. And lastly, as I mentioned, our ambitions to also engage managed service capabilities, we focus on the process efficiency and process acceleration. If we already use AI capabilities to summarize what happens throughout the ticket, whether incidents or request lifecycle, why not to harvest that intelligence and help us to create whether end user knowledge or an operating procedures for our managed service desk. So this was a bit a custom solution, but still using the Now Assist default capabilities, where we offer the IT fulfillers at the end the option to create end user or IT-focused documentation, aka knowledge. When one selects that option, a default template appears based on the type of knowledge base you want to create. A lot of information from the ticket are harvested and already populated, so the fulfiller spent only a small time on adapting this, then submits the knowledge base that enter a workflow approval to ensure that domain as well as knowledge-wise the knowledge article or operating procedure fulfills the requirements. And voila, as a part of the process, we are also enhancing our procedures. Now, the last part that we did, that you see really on the bottom, was the dynamic translation capabilities. As I mentioned, we operate in 72 countries around the world, so you can imagine the languages we speak. We use very actively and heavily around 13 languages, and then a few other less often. So we use, in this case, our public cloud LLMs, plugged it to the ServiceNow, and now not only we remove the security concern where people use Google Translate or similar to understand the content of the ticket, but we also help, again, to accelerate the ticket lifecycle, because both the employee as well as the IT personnel do not need to leave the place where they have the communication, but get translated to their own language the content of the request or the ticket. Now, what did we achieve? Obviously, we focus on the experience, because experience is key for employees to not only be more happy, but also more productive. So improving the experience of all, not only of those getting help, but also those of giving help. Increase productivity by focusing on really the important topics where we are adding the value, and as such supporting, of course, operational experience as well as compliance.
Katharina,
now, yes,
there is
ahead,
one question from Stuart, if I may interject here. So he is asking if you could confirm that all we are seeing on this slide was out-of-the-box functionality for Now Assist.
Yes, yes, it was out of the box because it was a Now Assist capabilities. Nevertheless, it requires an implementations and fitting for Brenntag needs, and that's where we use Plat4mation as our trusted implementation partner to ensure that what was implemented is also configured rightly for our use case.
All right, thank you. And the second question posted by Shrikant is, were the use cases also implemented on core IT, like data center operations and cloud operations, or was it just focused on service desk and the end user area?
That's a very good question. The use cases were implemented across all our staff, so available to all our employees, of course, per region, so last region pending, as well as all IT fulfillers. So that means service desk L1, as well as really the core IT L2 and L3 teams.
Excellent. Thank you for answering. And thank you, Shrikant and Stuart, for your questions. Please keep them coming.
You are welcome. And very good questions, definitely. Thank you. What did we achieve? I must put a disclaimer here that obviously to harvest the full benefits, you should be looking on capturing them at least 1 quarter after the full rollout. Yeah, or if you do it per region like we, 1 quarter after regional rollout. So with the first region, we are getting there in January, but we can already share some preliminary results. So how did we gather these results? For the efficiency for the employees, it was through surveys. For the efficiency of the staff, it was through measuring the ticket cycle times. We already see, depending on the area, but on average 20% accelerations or time saved. When it comes to the ticket deflection, which was another of our focus, because we felt the teams are not really using the self-help, instead of submitting tickets for something that I, as an employee, can solve by myself, through the help of conversational assistant that both explains the step-by-step of the self-help. We saw deflections of around 5%, mostly, I must say, in the workplace area. Yeah, and that's where users find it complex, but there's a lot of self-help available. Obviously, there is also certain financial benefit that will come out of this. In our context, it was mostly tied to the cost of the managed service desk that can decrease because there is a time saved and also volumes on the tickets. But these numbers, of course, we will harvest after the full rollout in alignment with our finance departments. So these are the benefits in a snapshot, which also reflects our goals. Now, I also want to leave you with some lessons learned. And definitely the number one is address the AI fear. What do I mean with that? Most of the companies, and ours is no difference, are in the initial stages of their AI journeys, meaning they are either setting up the AI governance, policies, organizations, all the tooling. And that means that there is still a lot of fear, or it takes longer to get AI capabilities in. There are also the other cases where there is not yet anything in place and things are too easy, which also pose its own risk. So how can you address it? This is our specific case, but potentially you can see some opportunities for yourself. Start small. What do I mean with that? In our case, we are providing ServiceNow capabilities in several domains. Nevertheless, we focus on starting with AI capabilities in the IT domain. So we limited the AI adoption initially to IT domain to prove both security-wise, compliance, that it works well before we scale to the other domain. Number two, focus on foundation. The use cases I presented to you are foundational use cases. On these use cases, you can build up more complex cases where you really want to move potentially to the zero service desk or really to more autonomous IT. But you will get to know that you still need these capabilities to summarize, to order in a conversational way, if you want to provide those more complex ones. So really start with foundation and take your time for the organization to adopt, but also for you to tailor it to your specific needs. Because AI adoption is always tied to a corporate review, so review by teams like privacy, information security, or AI governance, if you have available these departments. Be transparent what is available. Here, ServiceNow is really a great partner because as a trusted enterprise platform, ServiceNow has endless information that supports and explains the AI capabilities, what the agents do, how the AI guardrails are implemented in a ServiceNow, and really provide a safe feeling to our corporate departments. We also use these teams in ServiceNow to meet with our information security departments and others to walk through the capabilities so we have the full understanding. Do not hurry this process, but understand, because if you build this trusted relationship with your own department in the beginning, you will benefit from it as you scale your scenarios. And the last one, by not least, always set a clear KPIs or clear business case you want to achieve, and define how you're going to measure this. Yeah, ServiceNow again provides you a lot of dashboards, both for AI usage as well as dashboards that drive you through the actual processes improvements. You have everything available, but be very transparent to yourself how you're going to measure the success of your rollout. So you don't need to start thinking on that after the go live. And the number two is focus more on implementation, best practices. I say, well, ITSM needs to be live globally or wherever you operate, including key processes. Sounds like a no-brainer, right? But what do I mean with that? I'm not only talking of having these processes available live. I mean of that you must have a process ownership of these processes, a clear path where you want to get with these processes, understanding what are the problems, already doing certain process mining on this data, potentially with help of AI, so you know what problems you are targeting, and again, what outcomes you expect. Yeah, data is a foundation for all AI. I'm sure you hear it all over and around. I talk about the need of the curated knowledge base, so you are able to actually engage AI to help the user. Now you can also use AI, like I mentioned in our case, to create that knowledge. So don't think you need to pause and stop. You can do this in parallel. But do not forget also about your service catalog. In order to order in a conversational way, your catalog needs to be in a shape that it can be used. So think about over-customized catalog items. Potentially, you should look into this before you start implementation or throughout, and put some time to enhancing these features. And as Maud mentioned at the end of her presentation, and I can only amplify this, key stakeholder collaboration is really necessary for success. It's not about only training and upskilling the IT staff or service desk leaders. It's about the continuous engagement. So you can really build and continue building these capabilities step by step. So ensure that you create this key user group and that you have a continuous engagement to harvest their experience and improve further.
Katharina, there is one question that fits perfectly to this slide.
Yes, please.
It's from Stuart. He asks, if you were starting again, what is the one biggest lesson you learned that you would change to improve your adoption of Now Assist?
If you would be starting again, most probably, most probably we would roll out the capabilities directly. We took a stacked approach, going region by region. But what we saw as a global company, of course, you have global teams, you have regional teams that have some span to global, that we had a bit of a hard time to making that split. Of course, the teams talk between each other. It created a bit of confusion. So most probably we would probably start with a little proof of concept with maybe few assignment groups, and then just go for the full rollout to offer all organizations the options to benefit. And also, like Maud said, you don't need to be perfect at the beginning. It's important to start using and getting that feedback so you can improve.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart, for the question. Now, what is a future ahead of us? Many of you maybe attended the ServiceNow World Forums in the past months. So some of this topic might not be new to you. Our focus is pretty simple. Number one, focus on IT Service Desk Agent Zero. What does it mean? We want the Now Assist AI capabilities or Now Assist agent to be the first one who receives any ticket. Any ticket, so the information gathering, the triaging, as well as routing of the tickets based on certain logic is done by agentic workforce. And when our L1 actually receives the ticket, it's already with intent where they can add value to the ticket. That will be our number one focus, and we are really going to drive also the managed service focus then away from really being that L1 that only does these capabilities to provide added value further to our operational and core IT teams. Number two is focus on the process management agents, IT process management agents that will support both our fulfillers, so those that are actually resolving the requests or issues, as well as the process owners, so us and IT service management organizations. We will look in getting help on spotting the misclassified changes or incidents, alerting the fulfillers on when their SLAs are to be breached, for example, further guiding in resolution through the previously resolved tickets, and seeing opportunities where we can explore of resolving some of those tickets with the help of the agents. As I mentioned initially, we really focus on the IT area, but we are already discussing with our finance colleague, can we start the first AI use cases also in our CSM module? And I'm going to be honest, we see that probably we will start with the same foundational cases that will focus on better experience, guided help, as well as summarizing the informations before we move to the next one. And last but not least, as our peers in other domains like CRM or workplace are also maturing slowly on their AI adoption, we are looking on how we can further benefit from this intelligence and maybe connect service fulfillment domain even further to the workplace or a CRM area. So these will be the topics we're going to focus on. And with that, I will also finish my speech and give opportunity to ask more questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katharina. Thank you, Maud. So let's move on to Q&A. There's a couple of questions that came in, and please keep posting those questions. So let's start with a question from Matthias. And I don't know, Maud, if you want to pick this up maybe. Matthias is asking, was the LLM trained specifically for Brenntag? And how was the third-party LLM implemented respecting compliance and security matters?
Yeah, so good question. For the use cases we implemented for Brenntag were out-of-the-box use cases, and we were using the large language model of ServiceNow, so the Now LLM for these use cases. So for now, we didn't integrate with a third-party large language model.
Yeah, and I can add, usually we don't do specific fine-tuning of LLM models. What is possible for the out-of-the-box skills is that we modify a little bit the prompt via the Now Assist skill kit. So there is some fine-tuning available, but it's not the fine-tuning as it comes to the LLM itself. All right.
Yes, and to add on top of that,
yes,
for also for the out-of-the-box use cases from the Zurich release onwards, it is possible to select between 4 different large language models compared to what it was before, only the Now LLM, which was the default large language model. Now you can choose between 4 different models for each use case.
All right, excellent. Shrikant has another question. Katharina, you mentioned you also use other LLMs beyond ServiceNow's Now Assist feature. What use cases did you leverage from other LLMs which didn't come from ServiceNow?
Yes, so the number one use case that we leveraged and that I also presented was the dynamic translation capabilities. We also have contracts with cloud hyperscalers, and they offer the LLMs as a service on their side. ServiceNow does integrate or provide a seamless integration with these. So we use one of our cloud provider for that. And maybe also back to the previous questions, what did we do in terms of the compliance? Our AI governance follows the same standard, whether it's a SaaS product of a ServiceNow or whether it's a cloud product of one of the hyperscalers. So we follow the same governance process also for that use case, but then the 2 parties were involved.
All right, thank you. And Pravin has a technical question, or more maybe a usability question regarding the Now Assist panel. I don't know to which extent you really use the Now Assist panel. I think most of your use cases at the moment are really in the UI, like incident summarization, resolution notes generation, and of course the end user facing ones in AI search, in virtual agent, and in Teams. So I think maybe this one doesn't apply to you, because the question is regarding the Now Assist panel. Would like to hear if you also come across similar issues and how did you overcome. e.g. Now Assist UI panel is small size window that appears right side of the screen, and it adds extra efforts for users to scroll up, down when the conversation with AI continues.
Yeah, I can answer that question.
Excellent, thanks.
It was indeed activated for Brenntag, but I don't think we get specific feedback related to the Now Assist panel during this project. We had some small challenges during an upgrade related to the Now Assist panel, but there were no other big challenges or feedback related to the Now Assist panel for other projects. I understand the question, but we didn't see that before.
Can just add that we did not receive complaints on the usability. Yeah. So yeah.
All right. Katharina, next one is for you from Jan. He asked if you could elaborate once more on the actual results after your impressive journey.
Yes. So of course, I talk about the time saved, right? When you are looking on the actual result, the time saved is on the ticket cycle. There are AI metrics that actually directly measure the time saved on summarizing handovers, creating of the resolution notes, etc. So you can use that, but at the same time, you all have metrics like mean time to resolve, which are easily measurable, and most probably you already measured them in the ServiceNow. So when you look on those metrics for the ticket lifecycle, we measure before the rollout for that region, and then 1 month after the rollout, right? And then we, of course, continue measure it. When it comes to the user time spent, this is not something that ServiceNow can really implicitly directly provide you, those metrics, but we use the survey mode for the users to understand from them the improvements. And then we also can track which capabilities of Now Assist users are using and what is the adoption, which is also important metrics to understand where is your survey going to. Yeah, is it 20%? Is it 70%? Is it 90%? To also tell you, our adoption at this moment is 75% and rising. Yeah, so we started around 70 and it's continuously going up. So this is something that is important to understand where you are getting those results from. When it comes to the deflection, it is the amount of the tickets. It's a bit more complex to measure because, of course, we are running still large projects. And when we roll out a new program in certain countries, or when we do a Windows upgrade, of course, you get a new ticket. So you need to also understand your tickets categories to be able to measure where the deflection happened and filter out, let's say, issues from the new projects. But the ticket deflection was one of our key measurements. When it comes to the financial measurement, we directly tie it to the cost of our managed service, and the cost per ticket there, so that we can exactly measure how many tickets are being sold by managed service. And of course, as the number goes down, directly we expect cost out.
All right. Thank you, Katharina. And I'd like to add that you are also looking at implementing the ITSM success dashboard. I think you just installed it on the dev instance. You're going to go live with it in the next couple of months, probably. So I think this is really probably one of the most underutilized features you have in your ITSM license. And there's specific metrics when it comes also to Now Assist, right, related to ticket deflection, virtual agent usage, and so on. So if you guys haven't looked at ITSM Success Dashboard yet, and you're just about to start your Now Assist journey, I think it's really good to install it, let the measurements run so you have a baseline. And then once you go live with Now Assist, you can use it to see some trends and some KPIs, hopefully improving. All right. There was another question about AI agents. Maud, you mentioned in the beginning that you are also starting building the first AI agents for your Plat4mation customers. Can you elaborate a little bit on what are the typical use cases that customers ask for here?
Yes, good question. Overall, my advice is always to start small. Start small with use cases like summarization, resolution notes generation, knowledge article generation. And based on the data we do for data analysis we do for customers, we, for example, see what is a common challenge is that we see a lot of delays during the on-hold phase. That the tickets are in the on-hold stay on average for 6 days, for example. Now, based on that, we built already several agents to ask proactively for more information during the ticket creation. So when the end user is creating a ticket, that we, with an AI agent, proactively ask already for more information. Like I said, start small. We always start with the horizontal use cases, but where we see a lot of added values on the vertical use cases where we can replace a full end-to-end flow, for example, like password reset or a license request with an agentic AI workflow.
Thank you, Maud. There is a question regarding AI voice agents from Anirban. Could you please let us know when will the voice agents feature be available to test and use? I am on Zurich patch 2, but don't see them in AI Studio. I know in Q3 it was a controlled go-to-market. Not sure if they are now generally available already in Q4 with a December release. Maud, do you know more about this? Sorry, I can't answer it right now.
Yes, it's not live yet, but I heard that it will be in December. I'm not sure, of course, but that's what I heard from ServiceNow. So hopefully then in 1 or 2 weeks, then it will be available, hopefully.
Yeah. One note, so you need a telephony system. I think at the moment we support Twilio and Genesys.
Yes,
Others are following soon. So look out for the information and the roadmap regarding those supported telephony systems. If you have any questions, please feel free to follow up with your ServiceNow account team. All right. Then there is another question from Stuart. Question for Katharina. Apologies if you mentioned this, but did you have a ServiceNow steering committee that included business stakeholders? This is, I believe, would make sure continuous engagement from the business to help drive further integration and adoption of future initiatives.
Yes, so that is a good question. So indeed, as a part of our key user group, as we call that, besides the IT leaders, we also had the business partners, which are our connect to the business itself, understanding both sides of IT and business. So business partnership was fully involved, yes. And you are right, you need to have the buy-in. At the same time, I also want to say that in case of ITSM, business is looking really for those operational efficiencies, right? So faster time, better experience, and being able to do more with less. But that content, this is something where really the IT staff and the business partnership provided most understanding of what does it mean for business.
All right, the other question, and at the moment, the last question we have in our Q&A, it seems, is from Pravin. He asks if Brenntag could share KPIs achieved after Now Assist capabilities, e.g. mean time to resolve improved by X hours, minutes, SLA breached reduced by X%.
Yeah, so I think that was that rough 20% on average, yeah. Ticket life cycle speed up, so basically mean time to resolve. For the full transparency, it depended on the types of the tickets, right? Some of them, which are straightforward, didn't change. It was mostly the one that needs to traverse through several departments. But the average number that I shared, which was that 20%, was the time saved. For now, right? So we believe it's still a moderate achievement, and we can achieve more, both with the phase 2 rollout as well as further penetration, right, across our teams. So.
All right. Thank you, Katharina. Thank you, Maud. And I think that's all the questions there are. So that brings us to the end of today's sessions. Again, thank you so much, Maud, Katharina, for sharing your valuable insights and real-world experiences with us. I hope that all of you, our valued partners and customers on this call, have taken away some practical ideas that you can apply in your own organization, whether you are just starting your ServiceNow journey or looking to expand in our generative AI capabilities. As said, if you have any follow-up questions or would like to discuss how ServiceNow and Plat4mation can support you on your digital transformation journey, please don't hesitate to reach out to either of us, to your ServiceNow account team. We are really happy to help. Thank you all for joining us today, and we hope to see you at future events. Have a great rest of the day.